No other source of revelation. It goes through no one else. It must come to you directly. Constantly Brigham Young was harping on this. This is where, what do we care about words, he says. The brethren who came to preach the gospel to me I could easily out-talk, though I had never preached, but their testimony was like fire in my bones. I understood the spirit of their preaching. I received that spirit. It was light, intelligence, power, and truth. It bore witness to my spirit, and that was enough for me. I have received it, and I've tried to improve upon it. So, when we received the gospel, he said, what was the world to us? Nothing. Now notice, this is the point of view then. In its grandeur, its riches, its elegance, its finery, its gaudy show, its glittering array of paltry honors, its empty titles, and everything pertaining to it. Nothing but a shadow. See, Shakespeare was right. The earth is just a shadow after all, this world. When the Lord opens our minds and by the visions of his spirits reveal to us a few of the things he had in reserve for the faithful, there's another world entirely. See, it's not the sort, you don't even approach it. Well, you can, you see, in the arts and so forth, in this yearning. In the same way, you can read the menu, but it isn't eating the dinner. It can whet your appetite. And this is what a great work of art will do. It's a yearning. It's looking toward that sort of thing, but it's not the dinner, it's just the menu. Well, so he says, I said and I still feel it, that outside the gospel of the Son of God, the plan of salvation, there is nothing but death, hell, and the grave. Everything else is within our religion. And this was the point of view he took. What liberty can any intelligence enjoy that's calculated to be destroyed? This is the thing that worries every great artist. There is no liberty, no freedom there. The principles of life and salvation are the only principles of freedom. This world is a poor, miserable hell with a devil reigning at its head. I am after glory, happiness, and light that will make me happy in time and in eternity. And here, well, as I say, we have... I hate to skip any of these, there are hundreds of them. Well, let's read this alone. That divinity within us needs food from the fountain from which it emanated. It is not of the earth. It is from heaven. Principles of eternal life, of God and godliness will alone feed the immortal capacity of man and give true satisfaction. But it's very lamentable to observe how so many grovel in darkness, seeming not to understand anything but what they can feel with their hands, see with their eyes, and hear with their ears. They seem to feel, let me eat and drink today, for tomorrow I am not. Where are you tomorrow? Gone to nonentity, passed away like a vapor for aught I know. My life, existence, intelligent, my organism, my whole man passed into the great chaos of nature, never to be again, reorganized or reflect, think, understand, enjoy, or endure. It is all gone forever. Like brutes they live, and like brutes they die. Brigham Young's whole soul rebelled against that proposition. So when he heard the gospel, everything else was cast aside, meant nothing to him. I gave away all I had, he said, and started to preach the gospel. Went out with nothing. I was obliged to do it, for I felt as though my bones would consume within me if I did not. Consequently, I devoted my time to preaching. I was but a child so far as public speaking and knowledge of the world was concerned, but the Spirit of the Lord was upon me, and I felt again as though my bones would consume within me unless I spoke to the people and told them what I had seen, heard, and learned, what I had experienced and rejoiced in. The people heard, received, and rejoiced in the gospel. We had baptized our thousands upon thousands. They had no other way of knowing about this except from us. And like Alma, he was determined that no human being should suffer what he had if he could help. Description of leaving on his mission and so forth. Marvelous passages which we skip over, huh? But this, he carries this right through, and he's very consistent. Remember, this is a man who's put to the test. He's not just speaking from the platform. This is a man who went through the mill as no one else did in his century. Joseph Smith, for a brief time, Brigham Young bore the whole weight on his shoulders for 30 years and carried it off victoriously. I am not bound to wife or child, to house or farm, to anything else on the face of the earth but the gospel of the Son of God. I have enlisted all in this cause, and it is in my heart, and there is my treasure. This lesson we should study. The powers of our minds and bodies should be governed and controlled in that way that will secure to us an eternal increase. That's what we're after. While the inhabitants of the earth are bestowing all their ability, both mental and physical, upon perishable objects, Those who profess to be Latter-day Saints, who have the privilege of receiving and understanding the principles of the Holy Gospel, are in duty bound to study and find out and put to practice in their lives those principles that are calculated to endure forever, that tend to continual increase in this and in the world to come. Totally different worlds, another dimension entirely. This I know by experience.